please will you welcome the Chairman of CASH, Professor Graham MacGregor.
Well, David, thanks very much. You've given a masterly talk about our survey, so it relieved me of having to talk about it. And fantastic, Raymond, and fantastic, Diana, for your talk as well. And also the fact that Anna was here as well is great. Now, we are focusing this year on food eaten outside the home, partly because that's been ignored. We've been very successful in the retail products down by around, from our own surveys and also from analysis, to about 20 to 30%, and a fall in salt intake of 1.4 grams, 15%, which has already saved 9,000 lives a year. 9,000 lives a year, and that's a minimum estimate. So it is fantastic what has been achieved in the last 7 years, but we've got a lot more to achieve. And of course we have great problems with the current government and their responsibility deal, which my colleague Simon Cake will liken to putting Dracula in charge of a blood bank, because the food industry have been made responsible for policing themselves. And this has been a bit of a nightmare for us compared to the system we developed with the Food Standards Agency. But we have to work, and that's what we're doing, and we're struggling but succeeding. Only one thing about the survey, which was not mentioned by David, was that I think 60% of the public, when they go out and eat, think there's too much salt in their food. So the public are getting the message, and the chefs have got to listen. And it's not only chefs in celebrity restaurants. We certainly stirred up a lot of fighting spirit amongst them, particularly with Jamie Oliver, but also a little bit with Raymond. But it's also all the chefs everywhere else. I mean, in the whole catering industry, who are adding far too much salt, and we really need to get that message out to catering companies and so on. But I'm not going to go on about that. We've had positive response, you know, from Jamie Oliver, Gordon Ramsay, and many of the companies have said yes, they really are going to redouble their efforts. In relation to the responsibility deal, we're very pleased to see that Anna Soubry, unfortunately couldn't talk, she sent her best regards, you heard from David, has agreed now to reset the targets. The targets were let slipping for 4 years. As a result, we've lost a lot of the initiative, but we have to deal with the system. We're going to get salt intake down, whoever's in power. That's our position. We're not going to give way, right? And they need to know that. So, we are supporting this initiative, much as we'd like to go back to the old systems. We have to work with it, and we're hopeful it will work. The day is not only here, or the week, it's been a huge UK thing. We've sent out tons of leaflets, events all over the country, and internationally we've had the biggest response ever. You may be aware of a World Action on Salt, which has been very successful, with salt initiatives being in many countries. Surprisingly, particularly in South America, Brazil, Argentina and Chile are very advanced in public health, and they'll probably overtake the UK in the next few years. The President of Brazil is personally involved in getting salt intake down. There have been events all over the world. I won't go into them because we're running out of time. I think we want to have a few moments for discussion. South Africa is another one where they are actually regulating the amount of salt in the food, and interestingly the big food companies said they preferred regulation to a voluntary program, and the reason was that it gave them a level playing field. As long as they know that everyone else is doing the same, they'll do it. When they see one company not doing it and they're doing it, that's when you get problems. And I think the Minister, perhaps you would like to talk to Anna about that problem, because I'd like to see this much more stricter enforcement, somebody really banging the table saying you're bloody well going to do it, and if you don't, I'm going to name and shame you, and if you don't do it, we'll legislate, because then we'll get action. So would you like to convey that back? Thank you. Come on to thanks now. Particular thanks to David for sponsoring us and giving a brilliant talk. Raymond, what more can I say, is always fantastic. Tremendous to have Diana here. Of course, we had a lot of support from companies: Heinz, Kudos, Low Salt, Mackey's of Scotland, Mars, Marks and Spencer, McDonald's, McCain, PepsiCo, Smart Salt. Do you really want me to read these out, Catherine? Sodexo, Subway, Cooperative Waitress. And then we've had tremendous support from the other charities. I mean, British Heart Foundation, the Stroke Association, the Blood Pressure Association, Cancer Research, Diabetes, National Heart Forum, Obesity Forum, Osteoporosis, Stroke, and many others. We have now got a coalition of health charities, in fact all of the health charities, to support us, and that's been tremendous, and we'd like to thank them. And lastly but not least, I'd like to thank the organist, particularly Catherine, who you all know has done a fantastic job, and Carla and Sonia, Claire, and also our press team at Taste, and marketeers who did all, you won't have heard, but a very large number of radio programmes as well. So thanks very much, David, and thanks to all of you for coming. We are going to get salt intake down. We will work with whoever's in power and make sure they do it. And if they don't do it, they will hear from us. Thank you very much.